guys, this is Whitney with Lights Camera No.
What's up, everybody? It's Lauren. We're back with another episode. We're back on St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Week. Happy St. Patrick's Week to everybody.
Would have made sense if we had done something like Leprechaun.
Like Leprechaun, but no.
Sure didn't.
This week, we're bringing you, I don't even know if this is the antithesis of that, but
it's
we're
a movie
about the Bay.
Set on the 4th of July. So
yes. We should have definitely saved this for because now come 4th of July, we're going to be like, what are we doing?
No, we won't, because that'll be the week of our Leprechaun. Super special guest.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, that is 4th of July week, isn't it? Oh, baby.
Yep.
Say no more. Say no more.
I know.
We need to do like Leprechaun or a Leprechaun movie.
Like in July.
Yeah, like a random one-off time. But no, it's not this week. We're doing The Bay this week.
Yes. Doing The Bay, a Barry Levinson film from 2012.
And yeah, Barry Levinson is like an Oscar-winning guy.
Yeah.
Which I was like, we'll get to it, but
yeah. There's a backstory as to why.
Yeah, and I appreciate the backstory.
I feel like when we do our intro now, we should also be like, and it's a podcast about Labyrinth. Because
also mentioning Labyrinth.
Somehow the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie will be, interconnected.
Normally it's later, but
yes.
This week here we're just right off the bat.
Right out the gate. So oh, I bet David Bowie would like The Bay.
Oh. If only. God rest his soul.
Okay. Do you want to read your summary and then we shall get started?
Yeah. Residents of a Maryland tourist community become the hosts of mutant waterborne parasites that take control of their minds and their bodies. To be fair, I found summaries that were longer than this, but I felt like they gave too much away, and I wanted to dissect that ourselves.
Yes. My main question, and it's not even of why would they do that. It's more to Barry Levinson. Why would you do that? It's why does this problem have so many symptoms? There's no, basically anything could be this. Like the boils, you've got vomiting, you've got, I guess it's some sort of neurological problems because people are losing their minds.
And so, yeah, some people did not have tongues. They I don't know if they ate their own tongues.
They ate the things.
Initially they didn't put that out there, but they were like, this person's missing a tongue. Every person that came into that hospital at one point was like, new symptom.
Yes.
They're like, I don't know.
You get a symptom.
I don't know how to help you.
It's like COVID. There's so many symptoms.
I literally watching this movie, and it's weird because we're about at the year mark. We're a little, I don't know if it's the exact year, but whatever. March last year was this time when everybody was experiencing this range of symptoms, and they're like, "What's happening?"
Yeah,
it's just like, "Oh no, not again!"
Yes.
But in a fun way. I wasn't traumatized at this point.
No. But yeah, and that's kind of why I love any sort of, which is weird because the movie Outbreak, which is to me what's the word I'm looking for? Epitome of
epitome. Why did I say antithesis? That's not the right word.
I almost said it though. So
that means opposite. Thank you.
Right. But it's like the king to me.
Okay.
Of virus movies. Yeah. And it scared me so badly when I first saw it in the theater that I got up and left and didn't finish the movie. I sat in the lobby and waited for my two friends to finish.
Wow.
I was so bothered by it.
Huh. And now you're living it.
I think I was 13. So, and in my head, a pandemic meant we were all probably going to die, or, we're going to be herded into
stuck. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I think that's why my love for this type of movie is there.
Because it once scarred you. That makes sense.
Yes. It's also why I love shark movies. So anything from the ocean.
Yeah, because you're terrified of the ocean.
Yeah.
You refuse to go in the ocean.
Everything in there
is a backwards logic, but okay.
Maybe that's just what scares me the most.
Yeah.
So do you have this little amateur reporter and she is giving this footage, which I didn't understand where she was getting all the extra footage. Did people just send it to her?
So from what I read, like about this movie, he basically, Barry Levinson basically thought about like, what if we had photo and video of like Pompeii or some other kind of like natural disaster happening or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like modern day. What would we do? We would gather all the evidence from people's iPhones, computers, their Skype calls, their this, their that, and like look at that. And like that's what they did, compiled all that to make a movie.
Well, that makes sense. But how did they know who had it? How did they
I
contact
guess.
these people? How did the people know who to send it to?
Well, she seemed like really knowledgeable. Like in the beginning, she's like, "Oh, that's the mayor, and that's Mr. and Mrs. So and so. They ran the meat store in town, or whatever." So maybe she was the one provide like, "Oh, you should contact. Here's a list of people that I interviewed that day. Maybe they'll have footage."
Oh, I just assumed everybody in Claridge was dead.
You're right, because she did go XYZ, but there was a ton of footage.
Right. There was, they had the little girl on the cell phone, like trying to FaceTime her friends. And there was, they had the one Marine speaking, or if he was from the Coast Guard. They had footage from the doctor
I don't
in
know.
the
Maybe when they did a
hospital.
sweep and they were collecting bodies, somebody was like, a phone, phone, phone. Like,
I'll take this. I'll
I'm
take
gonna
this.
use this. I'm gonna make an awesome
I'm going to
docu-series.
confiscate this and not tell anybody I have it so that I can expose what terrible leadership we're under.
Right.
Basically. But when this first starts happening, the multitude of symptoms is so bizarre that the CDC is confused, and they're saying, what do you mean you have 30 people with a rash? And then it turns into, it was like the scene from the movie Stand By Me. Have you ever seen that movie? The Stephen? It's like that scene, except for blueberry, not blueberry pie. It was crab.
Yeah.
That's all I thought about. That guy just puking crab. And
Oh, so awful.
I can't think of a worse thing to vomit.
I just, I
Maybe
don't like
lettuce.
watching other people get sick. I mean,
I
who
don't
does?
like,
But
no, I can't stand the sounds either.
lettuce.
Lettuce would
Is
be
that what you said?
Yeah.
It's essentially water.
Have you never gotten sick after eating lettuce? Because I have, and it's very stringy to throw up.
Specifically like a salad. Oh God, no, I don't. I mean, I think I've eaten things that had lettuce in them that I might have thrown up. I don't know.
It's stringy.
Ew.
Yeah, it gets caught in your throat. It's terrible to throw up. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's my
God.
point.
You have like the most vivid memories of things.
I can tell you the two
And
things
like
I
the
don't
weirdest
like.
things.
Right.
The two things you don't like to throw up?
Yeah, is lettuce and coffee. Coffee's disgusting if you ever throw it up.
Can't say that I have.
It's awful.
Huh. Noted.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
crabs. We're throwing up crabs.
They're throwing up crabs, which would be awful too. And it would smell terrible.
And to like
in the heat, 4th of July, everybody's vomiting crabs. It's disgusting. Think how bad it would smell.
the hospital's packed. You can't get in.
Well, and then, okay, so then you have the clips from the kids in the pool.
Yeah, what was going on there? Like, what were people panicking about? Because this was part of this movie. Like, yes, it is a found footage movie, which was like all the rage at the time. And I don't mind found footage movies, but there were parts of this one where I was like, what am I supposed to be afraid of? What am I looking at?
That is what I'm talking about.
And that's one of them.
The multitude of symptoms was so ridiculous. So
was it boil people in the pool, or was there like?
And then it leads you to ask, what water is safe? I thought it was just ocean water. I thought it was the ocean water and the isopods. Like,
I'm not bathing.
Right. Can I not? Then they were saying that people were catching it from other people. Is it contagious? Because I thought it was like an actual organism.
Yeah,
then
I thought you had to like come into contact with it directly, whether drinking water, washing yourself, swimming in a pool. I don't know.
So the kids in the pool, they show the one little girl and she's got like the boils all over her arms. And then they talk to that one lady who's amazingly calm boils are on her face.
Oh, in the hospital?
She's just like nothing This happened. Just
State your name. Okay. Do I look here or?
Do I have anything on my face besides these giant boils?
Just a disease. It's fine.
So, and this is where I got aggravated, is the fact that they aren't clear with what causes it, because at first they talk about the chicken manure and there's a runoff into the bay, which is an actual problem. I read.
Yes.
It's not proven. Like, the chicken farmers are very against that idea. So apologies to chicken farmers. I'm just reiterating the information that I read.
Yes.
But then they mention a nuclear reactor. So,
which was another actual thing that happened.
Oh, see,
not to scale, I thought. But
the article I read said that there was no record of any radiation leaks anywhere.
Okay.
I don't know. I just read one article about the science behind it. Because
maybe I'm just misremembering. Yeah.
You know, it says at the beginning, it's like 80% factual.
Yeah. No, which is insane.
It's not, though. Like, I mean, so the way I took it is that these isopods were like kind of similar to Godzilla, that they had been exposed to radiation and also chicken poop.
Well, the thing with the chicken poop was that the chickens are being fed steroids to like grow quicker and then be sent to slaughter. But
so steroids and radiation.
Okay. I missed I guess it was, because how would they be growing? They were growing at exponentially fast rates.
Yeah. So they
like within hours, like their lifespan should have been like, they should have went from this tiny little microscopic organism to this giant, never gone to this giant thing, but because of this radiation and these steroids, they were just hours go by. And
like a xenomorph.
Massive things. Yes, exactly.
It's like a 24-hour lifespan.
Oh, God.
So I couldn't figure out why they were getting boils, because from what I understood, people were drinking these microscopic baby isopods, and then isopods were like, hey, we got a new home. And, you know, and they are an actual parasite. They do this to fish, not humans. And they were growing and eating their ways out.
So were the boils their way of getting it? Because like I feel like
I don't know,
later on they came out of boils, but the boil, you're right, they don't make any sense.
So you have the couple, Stephanie and Alex, who are visiting her parents. They conveniently don't have any sort of way to contact them while they're on this boat in the middle of the ocean. And, you know, Alex is like, hey, I'm going to jump in this water because it appears safe, which I'm over here like, it's not. It's never safe.
I would be in the water. Not
me.
I love the ocean. I don't know if I love it anymore.
Right.
But I'm going to think twice about it, but that would be me in the water.
So when they get there, he doesn't have any boils on him, and he's been infected because we see it literally eat its way out of his neck.
Yeah. I don't know why the boils were a thing. Maybe because it just like it played to the eye and was like, this creepy sensation.
But then I know they talked about a fully grown, what do they call it? A fully grown pod of isopods or something.
Oh,
seems repetitive to say pod twice, but the one teenager just jumped into the group of them and they ate her alive.
So the one that was with the boy.
They're trying to get in and out of people. They can't make up their minds.
We'll try both. See what you like better.
We have two options here at Isopodville. You can eat your way in. Can eat your way into the body, or you can go in as a baby and eat your way out of the body.
Choose your fate.
Which those things are creepy anyways. I'm waiting for, there's lots of creepy animals anyways, but isopods, if you're not aware, listeners, and Shane, who's watching, isopods come in and they get in the mouth or the gills of fish and they eat off their tongues, and then they attach to the nub and they become the tongue of the fish. So the fish thinks it still has a tongue, but really it's this little parasite that's eating all of the nutrients and all the stuff, and it sucks the blood out of the rest of the tongue, or I don't know. The fish
But this has
gets
never
the
happened to
raw.
a person, correct?
No.
Why did they just go after the fish? I mean, if they were smart, they would evolve.
Well, they're not.
I'm glad they haven't. I don't know. I just feel like having seen this movie,
I don't
I'm
know.
upset.
Maybe give them some steroid-laced chicken manure and a little dab of radiation and see what happens.
No,
Then they might.
because they're so small. That's why. That's why they haven't come after us.
Yeah.
I sound so smart.
Except they grow to be gigantic. I sent you the picture of that one.
That wasn't just from the movie. That was a legitimate picture.
That's a legitimate picture that they found it in the ocean.
Okay. Here I go on my spiral of the parts of the ocean that they haven't explored, and you can't tell me mermaids aren't real because
scarier than space. People are all afraid.
It is.
People are afraid of outer space. I'm like, let's concentrate on what's here on the planet we live on.
Let's do both. I mean, I want to know what's up there and down there. Like, let's do it. Because you can't tell me what's what until we've covered every inch of, area.
Well, there's fish down there that like so dark they grow lights on their heads.
I am itchy, like at this time. I'm thinking about that isopod crawling up that guy's arm on the boat.
Oh, it makes me jump.
No, thank you. Good day.
Good day, sir.
I am itchy.
So there's just a lot of issues with the reasoning behind the symptoms, because then you see the little bit of footage from, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like a YouTube video that someone had looked up, and he holds up his shirt and he's like, there's something
the bubble
really wrong. And there's like an isopod just like right below his skin.
Well, and like also losing your, I don't know, sanity was like a symptom.
So that's what I thought. And I looked it up, and apparently that officer, so there's this scene where an officer responds to a call, and it starts really early in the day. These officers are getting calls left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And I will point out that the people in this movie are so freaking vague with what I just saw something bad, ma'am. That could be a lot of things.
How many times did that dispatcher ask her where she lived? I was like, say your house number. That's like the main part of calling 911. Hello, this happened. I live here.
Yeah. The people in this town, they just weren't the smartest.
She's like, no, it's bad. Looking at it.
I'm staring at, I don't know. Something bad's happened to her. A lot of blood.
It's not good.
I don't know. At least she didn't go out and check it out.
True.
Gosh.
Good on her.
So the officer that shows up to that house, he responds to a call, and he goes up, and you hear all of this commotion with people like moaning and groaning. And then you hear the officer say what's coming out of them.
Okay. So he was just like traumatized from what he had seen. He wasn't really like.
It was a family, which
infected.
I assume meant children too. And they were begging him to kill them.
Okay. So he was just like messed up.
And then he did it.
Yeah.
He killed him. Then he just is like his like connection to
okay,
reality.
So his mental trauma was not an isopod related incident. I mean, it was, but not directly.
Like, well, there was that one lady that was banging on the window at the hospital too. So
yeah,
they never mentioned it in the call when the talk with the CDC. And did you think the guy at the CDC was kind of a dick?
I did until there was a moment, I can't like pinpoint exactly when, but there was a moment when I felt like, oh, like he's doing his best. He's trying to help. And then at the end, when he was like mad at the military guy that he was communicating with, and he got like frustrated with him. And that's kind of how they leave it at the end.
The Coast Guard guy?
The Coast Guard guy. That's who it was. I felt like he was on the like general public side at that point, because he was frustrated that the guy was like trying to cover it up essentially.
Oh, yes. I know.
But initially I was like, I don't know about this guy. I don't think he was I don't think he cares.
Well, and even towards the end, when he was talking to the head of the hospital, the doctor, he said, you should leave. And he's like, you and your staff should go. And the doctor said, my staff left 20 minutes ago. I'm still here. And he's like, I'm surprised you're not infected yet. you should leave. And he's,
Does the CDC actually advise doctors to do that?
I don't know, but I'm
'Cause
kind
that's
of,
not a great look.
I don't think the CDC has a great look after 2020
Oh, it's
anymore,
Corona.
but
Yeah, you should go.
get out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Take
just
a
tell you,
vacation.
you just need to leave. Yeah. Nope. Don't try to help anybody on your way out. It's super contagious. Just go on and go. Save
Yeah,
yourself.
put your PPE on and walk out.
So and the doctor was infected.
Mhm.
He ends up getting his footage to Little Miss Tight Pants, Donna.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you for mentioning that, because that drove me insane the entire time. This has nothing to do with like the quality of this movie or the plot or anything, but what they dressed this woman in drove me insane.
She says, and why didn't someone tell me my pants were so tight? She says it.
Yeah.
And that's literally my first note.
That's-
Why didn't someone tell her her pants were too tight?
That didn't make me feel any better. I was just like, I don't know. Why didn't you look in the mirror?
Why was her belt so cinched too?
I feel like she just had this like stock thought of what reporters looked like at the time, and
I felt like I don't even think that's what reporters wear.
I've never seen a reporter
No.
look like that ever to that
Those
point. But I feel like
khakis khakis were like flare boot cut from Abercrombie.
Yes. No, Kohl's.
Or Kohl's. The ones that don't come in
Mud.
lengths.
MUDD. Remember that brand?
I had some quality mud pants back
I
in
had
the
some
day.
quality mud, like bell-bottom jeans.
Yeah.
Yes, boots. And I had
boots.
purses, mud purses.
What a dumb brand name.
Oh man.
Mud.
But that's what I like. Mud was the brand I thought of.
And
No
can
offense.
we talk about Jimmy, her cameraman?
Just
Jimmy, what are you thinking? Everyone, at this point, there's for a while, she thinks she's following a murder case where I'm very confused as to why, like after the first person that gets boils and dies, why would you like, what do you think?
murder. This has to be murder. They poured hot water all over them.
What kind of murderer is doing this?
And she got the lady's name wrong that died. Like, come on, you have one job.
She didn't do it well. But
she's an amateur,
she's the one.
I get it.
Well, and I did feel bad because the big anchors were talking about how bad she was. They were like, this is a joke. This will be the biggest story of the year. And look who's got it. Donna.
Yeah. I mean,
Donna and her mud pants.
Joke's on them because she survived and they didn't.
Did they not?
I mean,
that's true.
Generally, the people that in that town
died. Well, they were shut off from the world.
Yeah, 3 days. Talk to me after a year, people.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it, Claire.
3 days is a joke.
But Jimmy, her cameraman, he's the one, after you see all this stuff that's happening, why wouldn't you say, you know what, I'm not going to drink any water or touch anything. I'm only going to drink stuff that hasn't been opened. Touch anything.
That was one of my main why would they do that moments in this movie is like, obviously in the beginning, nobody knew like where the problem was coming from. But once we started to discover that it was like, oh, that person came from a pool. That person came from an ocean. That person took a shower. It's like, maybe I shouldn't touch the water. Maybe I should be drinking out of water bottles or not touching any kind of water for a little bit until we get this under control. Hello.
I'm gonna boil my water first if I have to drink
it.
Right.
Skim it for isopods.
Yeah, exactly. Then you had the weird footage of the fishermen that were out on the ocean.
Yes.
They were also
oceanographers.
I guess that's what
the guy and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they just happened to stumble upon the isopods and dive into another pod of them.
Yeah, they had all this evidence and like I don't know who found it or when it got back and like logged to the authorities, but they like peppered that in throughout the documentary.
There was a lot of peppering.
Yeah.
A lot of
And it was
peppering of a lot of
confusing.
footage.
And the mayor, this was all the information the mayor was ignoring.
Well, and I also like how the mayor was like, this is the best drinking water I've ever had. And then he like chugs it.
He was the mayor from Jaws. That's what he
Yes.
was.
There's always a mayor from Jaws.
I wish he had the same suit on.
Damn it. Why didn't he? It's on the 4th of July. It's on the water.
Yeah, that was a
There's
huge
a creature in the
wardrobe
ocean,
mistake.
literally eating people from the inside and out.
Literally.
Yeah, there was the poor kids. Like, how did that? Give me a break. That camera would not have worked after a year of being in some swamp water, some marsh.
Unless it was like, I don't know, was GoPro technology around then?
No, because this came out in 2012, but the incidents all happened in 2009.
Was there some like lesser underwater camera? Because I know that they did use underwater cameras to like shoot some of this stuff.
Those kids didn't have underwater cameras.
Fun fact, they tried 80 to 90 types of cameras, different like filming technologies, but they ended up using 21 types of cameras to shoot this movie.
What?
Isn't that insane? That's an insane number one to try 80 to 90 cameras. What?
Why?
To get the right like vibe, I guess.
Look from all of them?
21 of them. 21 they used, including iPhones and underwater gear, but they didn't specify whether or not it was.
I mean, it would make sense for the oceanographers to have underwater cameras.
Yeah.
Not so much for that young.
When the heck did GoPro come out?
I definitely feel like it was after 2009. I feel like a lot of stuff came out in 2010 because it
Definitely
felt
not 2009.
It felt like the future. Like just saying like it's from 2010 felt like the future.
Okay, so I graduated high school in 2009. What does that say about me?
Shut up.
Shut your face.
Shut your face. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. I am not from the future.
I do want to get to the bottom of, we won't, but I want to, the bottom of this type of water and where it all was coming from.
It's bay water. Can't go in the bay.
People aren't drinking bay water. And where there are little tiny microscopic isopods in that pool, they can live in chlorine now.
Well, no, because at the end, that was like one of their solutions. They dumped like massive amounts of chlorine into the bay.
Then those kids shouldn't have been infected.
True.
So those kids were, and if the water just touched you somehow, you were infected? Did they wiggle through the pores in your skin or something?
Again, I am itchy.
These are the questions I have for this movie though.
No, they make sense. I mean, maybe they were in the bay and jumped in the pool. But then like hypothetically the isopods would have died. Right?
Yeah.
The chlorine?
Unless those people weren't keeping their pool. Maybe it was a saltwater pool.
It could have been. Or they could have been in the ocean or the bay so long that the isopods had like, they were in there for hours. They did their like magic. They were already in them. And then they were like boil people.
I just don't understand the boils. Don't understand it.
Somebody help me understand the boils.
I'm fascinated though by movies where it's really scary to me. It gives me like a very big sense of dread when something's like growing inside of someone.
Oh my God. I cannot imagine.
And it's gonna come out.
Just
not like a baby, but
no,
like, a thing.
I'm a picker. Like if there's like a foreign bump on my body, I'm gonna pick at it.
Same.
So you're gonna tell me something's moving around up in my leg, or
I'm gonna get a knife. I'm gonna cut it out myself.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut my.
I'm gonna make its entrance into this world way easier.
Yeah, come on out, little guy.
I'm gonna do all the hard work.
I just have to know.
But any sort of like body horror where, the movie with Jeff Goldblum, The Fly.
Yes.
It's not in him, but he's like transforming into something.
Yeah.
Grosses me out so much, but I'm fascinated. I can't turn away.
Yeah, I'm doing one of these.
Mm-hmm. I want to see. I don't want to see anybody pull their fingernails off.
No. Oh God.
It happens a lot, I feel like, in horror movies.
I can only think of like one in the ring
Really?
with the nail. I mean, maybe I just like I'm so traumatized I blocked it out, but
No, it happens in freaking Stir of Echoes.
oh yeah.
It
Oh,
happens
what a movie.
it's a lot of werewolf movies too, where they're like
Well, because I
transforming.
feel like they need room to grow their claws.
I just think that would hurt a
I mean,
lot.
obviously, yes, it would hurt to grow into a werewolf, if we're being honest.
Did you ever see that movie Contracted?
No.
Listen, if you're listening and you haven't seen Contracted for some reason you want to, skip ahead like 2 minutes. It's about this STD that turned you into a zombie, and it was spread by this guy who had sex with a dead person, and
Oh
he gives
my
it to another
God.
girl at the party. Her fingernail falls off into a salad that someone's about to
Ew.
eat. It
Why
always makes me laugh because why were people letting her work?
was that
When
like the It Follows before It Follows?
it didn't get a ton of play, but it actually has a sequel.
Really? But I mean,
Uh,
it was a commentary on STDs, right?
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Kids
It's really gross. It's very, very gross.
into a salad.
Yeah. And the people are not nearly mad enough that they found a fingernail in their salad.
I love how
Was it?
fingernail did not fall off in this movie. Talking about fingernail song. We're just like, let's talk about it anyway. We hate it, but let's do it.
Was there a fingernail in Labyrinth that fell off?
I don't think there was. I was actually trying to think.
No, there absolutely was not.
No, I
No,
wouldn't love that movie so much.
right? Yeah, no, there's definitely in Contracted. A lot of things fall off her. A lot. Real
Ew.
gross. Anyways, we
I'm
start
upset.
talking about body horror, and
Yes.
I have a weird
Which, like,
fascination
yeah.
with it. I love it.
Well, that's why you like this movie so much. And if you don't like body horror, I wouldn't
Don't
recommend
watch
this
this
movie.
movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this one to you.
I'm telling you, any sort of creature feature.
It speaks to you.
Yep. I love
Although
it.
I don't, well, there's a difference between body horror and torture porn. And I feel like there's a crossover.
I don't like that.
Torture porn?
Well, I don't like the crossover. Like some
Yeah.
people talk about body horror and they mention like Saw or Hostel, and to me that's torture porn.
That's torture porn straight up. But
It's
it
not
also
really
is, I mean,
body
like,
horror.
I think body horror is more like when like a modification happens to the body. Like the
Yeah.
means of that are
Like
open to
Human
interpretation.
Centipede is body horror, but that's
also
not
torture porn though.
But yeah, not what I'm into.
Yes, agree. But
Not
so
that
I
I'm
have a hard time
into
with body horror because it blends into that like realm of torture porn. But this movie didn't bother me so much in terms of the body horror. Is my point.
Oh, I get the worst sense of dread when he's saying he can't talk, like he's like swallowing real hard.
Oh no.
He's saying I can't breathe.
Ugh. That's the husband, right?
Yes.
And then
He's
what did
about
he
to-
like want her to do with that? Was a poker, right? Like a fireplace poker?
I think he wanted her to kill him.
What did he want? Her to gut him?
I don't know, maybe stick it right here in this
Okay.
soft spot.
Ew.
Maybe stab him and the isopod together.
Do you know how hard you would have to, like, if you just gently stabbed him, though, you're not going to kill him. You're just going to, like, seriously injure him, right? He's just going to slowly bleed out. If you really want to kill him,
I don't think there was any hope. If there was any hope for that guy, there wasn't. That thing had crawled up and like snacked, I'm sure, all the way up his little
snacks.
Like
just
take a bite here, take a bite here, take a bite here. And then he was like, now it's time for me to leave. And he burrowed his way out.
And I think your girl, Kristen Connolly, realized that at this point because she
Don't
was like,
call her my girl.
Oh, okay. For anybody that's listening, I don't know like when Whitney developed this passion for Kristen Connolly, but she's got one. She's got a passion, and it's for Kristen Connolly. And
literally,
her work.
We have watched 2 movies with her in it. 2.
And every time I'm like, oh, who's shocked? It's a Kristen
Connolly.
Now, for the record, I have nothing against Kristen Connolly. No. I just like, I don't know. Every time I'm like, oh, Whitney picked another Kristen Connolly movie.
After I said that, I was like, I should have told her Kristen Connolly's in it. just to give her a heads up. So
But like,
she
if you told me that, I would have thought she was she was not a minor part, but she
it
kind
was
of was.
Donna. Donna stole the show.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying though is the sense of dread I get from this movie compared to other body horror movies, like what you're talking about, like the crossover, it's not the same. Like it's just there's no sense of dread in stuff like Hostel or Saw. I just think it's gross. Like it's
I get what you mean.
I wonder if you would consider Texas Chainsaw Massacre torture porn.
I would.
I think it's more of a slasher, but
I think there's a crossover there too, depending on who you ask. But I don't know. Because I think it's because of like the reason for their killing in that movie that makes it torture porn. You know what I mean? Like they like it. Like House of a Thousand Corpses, also torture
never
porn.
seen it.
Ugh, never watched that.
I've
movie.
never seen any torture porn unless we're counting Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
My God, I have literally seen all the torture. Not all of
I
them,
know.
but like a lot more than you have, which is weird because I
Not
hate
me.
this genre.
Why do you watch it? I'm like, no,
I don't know.
want
I was
to.
like 13 and everybody was like, do you want to watch Saw? And I was like, sure.
Oh, no, I do not.
And then I saw like 1 through 4, but this isn't about me. Okay.
All right. I think that covers everything. I think we've talked
I have
about
one more moment where I was like, why are you doing this? And it was when Donna stuck her face in that pile of blood and then was shocked when she looked up and blood dripped upon her.
Oh,
That's not her name. Is her name Donna?
It is, but I was trying
Yeah.
to remember what part you're talking about. When it was
Near
just
the end.
dripping.
Well, they're on
she
the
was
boardwalk
looking,
and yeah.
And it's just a dead body
Hanging off the roof, yeah. But like, sis, you stuck your face real close, as people are wont to do in horror movies. They'll willy-nilly sticking their noses in things.
Oh, I don't know what this is. Let me get real close to it.
And then she gives a look up and is like, oh my God, when blood drips upon her.
People are dropping dead all over town. These isopods were a force to be reckoned with.
Seriously.
Those little suckers were just tearing through the town. And then where were they going to go? Just back to the ocean?
The devil works hard, but the isopods work harder.
They do. They were very, very persistent in their endeavors of murdering the entire town of Claridge.
I thought you would like side more with them because like in reality, I think they were just hungry, right? Like thought you would be like, they're so cute. They're just hungry.
No, they're gross. They're like spiders. I don't like spiders. They're gross. No, and these things, I don't like that they actually take over like other animals in real life. It's like those, I forget what they're called, but they're basically like zombie. They turn ants into zombies. They're like a parasite and they grow.
What?
Yes. Have you never heard of this?
No, educate me.
It's like maybe it's a plant and once the ants eat off the leaves, then it takes over their brain and it learns how to like make them come. I'm totally screwing this up, but they turn them into zombies. They take over their brain and tell them what to do until the plant can grow out of their heads and they kill them. Like the plant grows out of the ants.
So what does it have the ant do when it's in control of its brain?
I don't know if maybe it populates, like spreads the pollen elsewhere.
Huh.
So that more of the plant grows.
We will be sharing some literature on this for anyone as fascinated
as
I am.
It's definitely, there's weird stuff like that in nature. And so the fact that
it doesn't surprise me, but
the fact that these isopods take over and become the tongue of a fish.
Yeah.
That is hardcore.
It's too much.
And they grow to be gigantic.
Okay, I thought that was fictional and now I'm upset.
No, it's real.
I'm just going to keep pretending it was fictional.
I've looked it up.
No, you didn't. It's fake. It's fake. Government conspiracy.
I'm just telling you, they live at the bottom of the ocean. Maybe not even at the bottom. Maybe just
on a bump on a log in a hole.
Midway. Just midway. No, they're swimming inside other fish.
No, I was singing the stupid song, Whitney.
Oh, I don't know what song that is.
Bump on a log and hole at the bottom of the sea.
I've never heard this.
What? It's like a children's song. Oh,
Not down here.
yes, it is. Okay, we're fighting. I'm gonna send it to you. Not down here.
The only acceptable animal in the ocean, as I said earlier, is a narwhal. That's it. And I'm a little, now that I've learned that the horn of a narwhal is basically its tooth jutting through, I'm a little grossed out, but I still like it. So
did you learn that from Bobby Rose's book, or did you learn that just from general research?
I follow Sharon Says So on Twitter and Instagram, and
that's where I get all of my
she's a whale person. So
okay.
She had like interesting facts about narwhals one day, and I saw it.
She's a whale person.
Her first job is like politics. She does like political stuff, but she does like whale watching in her spare time.
Okay.
I love her. You should follow her. She's hilarious.
I will consider that. She's a whale person.
Yeah.
How do you describe me to other people, I wonder?
Mm-hmm. She's a pop culture person.
Oh, that's nice.
She's a Jersey Shore person.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about me.
Are you ready to give your rating?
Yes, I am actually.
Well, have at it. Let's see what you got to say.
Okay. Originally my rating was a lights camera meh, which like doesn't happen often on this podcast, but it has happened before. I'm now changing it to like a lights camera sure, because it's not a yes and it's not a no, but it's not a meh either. And I'll explain why. I really disliked all of the characters in this movie, and I couldn't vibe with any particular one of them, and that's like, I don't know why, but that's a big thing for me in movies. So that's why I disliked it. But I did like that this movie was based on like an actual factual thing. It was like a creative take on a scary issue, a creative take on like a political commentary. The actors actually were the ones that shot like 80% of it. So I thought that was really cool, even though I hated them and the job that they did. But like their filming was cool and unique. I read that this movie has been compared to Cloverfield meets Contagion, or Blair Witch meets Jaws meets Day After Tomorrow. So if you like vibe with any of those movies, I would recommend you watch it. But yeah, it's a lights camera sure for me.
Huh. Why did you hate them? I didn't hate anybody in this movie.
Oh, I hated them. I don't know. I think I hated them because I hated Donna just because I don't know. Her
voice was a little grating.
Her voice bothered me. Her style bothered me, which is just like a personal thing. But
Lauren
I felt
hates
like she was
mud pants.
I felt like, I don't know, she gave me that like try hard vibe, and that doesn't speak to me. But I also think it was because there were so many characters in this movie, you never got a chance to like really know anybody. And I guess that's an important quality of movies for me. Like, tell me your backstory. Let's get to be friends until you die,
Yeah. Like last week in The Rental, when I was like, I don't know these. I need to know more about the killer.
No, that was the point.
Wrong. Okay. I give this movie a lights camera yes.
Yes.
I am a sucker for any sort of creature feature that involves the ocean, though, so I don't know, take my review with a grain of salt, because I enjoy this movie. It gives me it gives me legitimate scares as I'm watching it. There's one jump scare, but overall it's just this sense of dread the whole time you're watching it, because these people are doomed, because these isopods are just relentless in their hunger and their parasitic ways of taking over this poor town of Claridge. And I thought, I don't mind any of the actors, because you're not really with any of them long enough for them to get on your nerves. That would be my thing about the actors. That makes sense. In general.
I don't know. I think I just was that longing for that.
Like you wanted to know more.
But that's the beauty of this podcast.
Yeah. We can have different opinions. See? Listen to us, folks.
Solving the world's problems one episode at a time.
Two gals figuring it out. And by it, we mean world peace.
You can thank us later.
Yeah. So yeah, that is my review on The Bay. So I have one friend who I have terrorized for years, literally since this movie came out in 2012, for him to watch it. And because I was oddly obsessed with it, my friend Ryan St. Clair. And we used to work together, and he would never, ever, I would always say, you need to watch this. And he wouldn't do it. So every time it's popped up in the past, 8 or 9 years, I screenshot it and take a picture and be like, look what I'm watching.
And has he watched it?
No, but
Why?
I did just to aggravate me, but I did tell him this week that we were doing it. So he was like, send me a link. I'll listen. So we'll see if he does.
Okay. Fair enough.
But
Do
it's
it.
on HBO Max if you're interested in watching such a flick. But as per usual, no idea what we're doing next week. No clue. It's so fun. It's like a surprise.
Yeah.
For everyone, including us.
Gives you a reason to pay attention to social media.
I don't even announce it on social media beforehand.
I'll occasionally say it on Instagram or Facebook. You know how it goes.
The social meds. Speaking of social meds, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Lights Camera No. Facebook, we're LCN Podcast. We have some writings, some musings of our own at lightscamerano.com. If
you just did a bunch you're working through your creature features.
And yes, I'm in a series of top 5 movie monsters, and 4 and 5 are out. 3 was supposed to come out today, but the shift button on my MacBook is broken. And
a travesty.
So I'm basically going to have to write it and send it to you and be like, can you capitalize the sentences for me?
Dump it into Grammarly, and then you could click through, and it should.
I actually think it'll do that.
It should be able to
in Google Docs. I think it will.
Yeah, if you hit spacebar, it should.
Yeah,
that's bizarre.
I know. I'm gonna have to make.
Are both of them out of order?
No, there's the one, but it's the wrong one that works.
I know what you mean.
It's the one on the right side.
Yeah, that's the wrong one.
Yeah. So
why is that even there?
I don't know.
Waste of a button.
I can go back and backspace and hold it down and be real awkward about stuff when I capitalize the correct way. But yes. So number 3 will be out soon. I can just always go to our actual desktop and do it probably, or I can do it on my phone. If you have any movies you want us to watch, you can email us at lightscamerano@gmail.com. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching and listening, and we hope to see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Later, guys.